Hello everyone, I am Noman Heda, your lecturer for NIT2124 Network Management. In this video, I will be explaining how you can approach the Assessment 3 technical report. The weightage of this assessment is 30% and it is due in session 7. In this technical report, you can access this technical report on VU Collaborate. So you click on Learning Space and then you click on Assessment 3 technical report. You will find this technical report there. Uh, So this is a sample suggested template you can adopt for the report. And I can share another template which I have created. If you want, you can also use that. And the assessment document can be downloaded from here. So this is the given scenario which you need to implement, download, and write a report about. So in this, I explained this in our last session, each and every part of the assessment. So my focus more is going to be in this video on the implementation. So as I explained during this session, what you have to basically do is that you have to implement this network topology on packet tracer. You have to assign all the devices with IP addresses as listed with the network addresses for our relevant networks. So from and if you do them task by task, like if you follow these steps, it will be very easy for you to do the assignment. So first of all, design the network topology in packet tracer and label according to the given scenario. Record, make sure you keep a record of all the configurations and settings you do, because you will be needing that later on in the report. Name the devices according to the given topology and configure the basic settings. So naming the devices means that these names of the devices, these names should be configured in the devices, not just put here on a packet tracer. So please take a note. That these names of these devices, they should be configured inside the devices using Cisco operating system, Cisco OSI commands. Then what the next step you should do is assign IP addresses according to the given network addresses for each subnetwork. You must use the last 3 digits of your student ID and replace it with the given IP address. For example, in each IP address you see there are 3x, 192.xx.x. So what you need to do is that replace these 3x with the last digits of your with the last 3 digits of your student ID. For example, if the last 3 digits of your student ID are 123, then for the main network the address will become 192.12.31.0 and the main network is this one. So it will become 192.12.31.0, and similarly you will replace all these 3x digits with the last 3 digits of your student ID. Once you have configured the IP addresses, the next task is to configure the routing. You can use OSPF routing, you can use RIP routing, you can use static routing, any routing you want to use. But what is the ultimate objective? The ultimate objective is that all of these networks should be able to reach one another. This PC should be able to ping this PC and this PC. So end-to-end ping must work. So you should not proceed to the next stages of SNMP configuration unless um, you have completed the end-to-end connectivity and end-to-end verification. Usually RIP is a simple to implement dynamic routing protocol. So what you do on each router is that you simply advertise the routes for that router. For example, for this router, this network will be advertised and this network will be advertised. For this router, this network will be advertised and this network will be advertised. And for this router, this network will be advertised and this network will be advertised. And that will make end-to-end network connected with one another, and you will be able to verify the connectivity. So you should not proceed to the SNMP part unless your ping is working. Now, once the end-to-end network is configured correctly and you have verified the connectivity, the next step is that you configure the SNMP setting on all the devices. And uh, you need to configure basically these 6 devices, 3 routers and 3 switches as the SNMP agents, and this PC will be acting as the SNMP manager or a network management system. So configure the SNMP agents, routers and switches with the given community strings. Record the configurations in the report along with your and the most important part of the report is your reflections or your your own analysis on what you are doing. That is very important, so please make sure you write comments as you go, as you proceed with the configurations, so to let me know that what you understand, what you are doing, what you are learning from this exercise, and how you relate it to what we are learning in the workshop sessions, in our theoretical discussions. So for the routers, the SNMP community string which you need to use is this. Again, you need to replace these 3x digits with the last 3 digits of your student ID. And for the switches, similarly, you will configure this community string for read-only mode and this community string for read and write mode. Once the community strings are configured, you should be able to access all of these agents, routers, and switches from the SNMP manager. And once you see that you can access those devices, the next task is that you have to do these 4 tasks from the manager, and you have to record the results, and you have to um, discuss those results by including your own reflections and analysis. So this is what all the report is about. What I will do now is that uh, I will show you a similar demo on a packet tracer on how you can do the same task on the packet tracer. So what I will do now is that I will not draw the exact topology which is given for the assessment, but I will draw something very much similar, and I will give you the demo of how you can do all the steps which are required to complete this given task in the assessment. So first of all, we need to design the topology. For that, we need to drag and drop the devices. So in each network, we have one PC, we have one switch, and we have one router. I usually use these routers 2911. You can use any router as long as it fulfills your requirements. Once I have done that, but what I will do is I will also connect them. And then in packet tracer, there is also copy paste, which you can use. You can copy this network, and here you have another network. Now, before I proceed, in the routers, you will see that all of these are the Ethernet ports. There is no serial port, which is shown in the topology, and the routers are usually connected with one another through the serial port. How to add a serial port in the router? To do that, the steps are, first of all, click on the router and find a switch for the router. This is the physical switch which can turn on or off the router. So first of all, turn it off. The router is in off mode. Then drag this HWIC to T component because it has 2 serial ports. You can see here it has 2 serial ports because we need serial connections. So we drag it from here and we drop it here. Now this router will have 2 serial ports. I turn it back on and it will be good to go. Do the same steps for the second router. Click on the router and uh, turn the power off for the router. Without turning the power off, you won't be able to install a new module. Then copy this, drag this SWIC module and drop it. Turn the router back on. So all good now. It has the serial connection now. From serial 00, let's say, to serial 00. Now I will be using only this topology, and the network addresses I will be using, I will write here so that I will use 192 dot I'll use the sample ones dot 10.0. This will be the network address for this network. Then I will use 192.123.11.0/24, and the network address I use for the serial links will be 192.123.11 no dot 12 dot 0 and slash 30, because it only needs two IP addresses. These are the IP addresses I will be using for this topology to demonstrate to you how you can um, also repeat the same steps to complete the given assignment. Now, before I proceed, I need to name the devices. So I go to the CLI of the switch and I write host name. So this is the host name I can change. Let's say I call it main switch. So this is how you need to change the names as well in the devices. So you have to be in the you need to be in the config terminal mode, main switch. So that will change its name to main switch. That is how you have to change the devices. So this step will be done like this in the given assignment. So if you see, name the devices according to the given topology. So that is this step I just did, naming the devices using hostname command. And just for the sake of clarity, you can also rename them here so that it's easier to understand. Similarly, you can say main router. Let's say I call this Ultimo switch, and this is like a sample topology I am using, and I'm making assumptions for the names as well. So similarly for this router, I go to the CLI. When you see this, either you can press no or you can press Control C. So it will take you to the basic configuration mode. Host name should be main router. Host name is changed. Similarly, I'll go to this router. Host name is changed to Ultimo router. For this switch, host name will be changed to Ultimo. So now all the devices host names have been changed. That part is done. Now the next part is to assign the IP addresses. So the first IP address will be I will assign is to this PC. So here I have three devices. I need to assign IP addresses to all three devices. I need to assign an IP address to this PC, to the switch, and to this interface of the router, which will be the gateway address as well. So you can assign the IP addresses by going to IP configuration of the device, and you can type in 192.123.10. So I will assign dot 1 IP address to the gateway, dot 2 to the switch, and dot 3 to the PC. So it will be dot 3, and the gateway address will be dot 1. This will be the gateway address. PC is ready. It has been assigned an IP address. Let's go to the switch now. So you can assign it on a VLAN 1 if you want, or you can assign it on any other VLAN as well if you want. So IP address 192.123.10.2 followed by the subnet mask. Now shut. Interface is up. That's good. Next part is that I have to also configure the gateway on the switch. And if you don't know any command, you can type this question mark sign and it automatically suggests you what will be the possible command for that. So IP default gateway, IP address for the gateway will be 123.10.1. So this has been done as well. The last one will be for the router interface, this interface gig00. So interface G00, assign the IP address 192.123.10.1 dot, and the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Now shut, and when I enter now shut, you'll see the interface will go into the up mode. Now before you proceed, it's a good idea that you check what you have configured. Is that working? Is that fine so far? So you can ping the gateway. Now 10.1. So ping is working, PC can ping its gateway, all good, that part is done. Repeat the same steps for this network. I will repeat the same steps for this network. First, I will assign the IP address to the PC from this range. So 192.123.11.3, and gateway will be 11.1. Done. Then now going to the switch interface, VLAN1 IP address is dot 2 and 255.255.255.0. Now shut, all good. Press exit, and here assign the default gateway address, which will be 192.123.11.1. Switch is ready to go as well. The last is this interface of the router, G00. So interface G00, I will assign the IP address of the gateway router, followed by the subnet mask. Now shut, and this will turn on the interface, and that is done as well. Now these two networks are up and running. I can confirm it by pinging from PC to its gateway. Oh, there we go. So this network is ready. This network is ready. Last network to be configured is this one. First, I will configure this interface of the router. You see this small clock here. This is the DCE interface of the router. So you have to configure the clock rate on this interface of the router, only on this interface where you see this clock. So first I will interface now this interface, configure this interface serial 00. So interface serial 000, IP address is 192.123.12.1. So I'll assign first one to this one, dot 0, and now shut, and clock rate. So not from here, exit. I just need to confirm. No, I don't need clock rate. I think I need to. I forgot from where I have to enter the clock rate. Okay, probably from the interface. Yep. So you have to configure it from the interface. This interface 000, clock rate. You can set it to 64,000, and that should be fine. So this interface of the router serial interface is configured along with the clock rate. Let's go to this interface. And this interface is also serial 00. I will assign the second remaining IP address to this interface, that is 192.123.12.2 and 255.255.255.0. No shut. And when I will enter no shut, the link will go green. It means everything is working. So this link is working as well. Let's see if I can ping from this PC to this PC, if the end-to-end connectivity is working. So I want to ping 11.3. That is the other PC. You see destination host unreachable. So it means this PC at this stage cannot ping this PC. The reason for that is there is no routing protocol configured. So far I have done everything here. The next part going to do is this step number 5, where I have to configure the routing so that end-to-end network is working. So I will be configuring the routing on these routers now. First on this router, RIP version 2. And what you have to simply do is advertise the networks which are directly connected to this router. Now 10.0 is connected and the network 12.0 is connected. That's it. RIP, I will configure the RIP on this router. Router RIP, configure to version 2. Networks which are connected to this router, and we need to advertise the R192.123.11.0 and 12.0, and that's it. This router is configured as well. We will ping again to the same PC. If the routing is configured correctly, this should work. But if it doesn't work, it means there is some error. There is some error which you need to troubleshoot first. So I see the error. Let's resolve it node by node. So first I will try to ping this. So if you also have the error, the way to troubleshoot is always ping step by step. So first of all, I will ping its gateway. So 10.1, PC can ping its gateway, so there is no problem there. Everything from here to here is working. Next thing is I will ping this interface of the router. So that is 12.1. So the PC can ping this interface of the router as well. Now next I will try to ping this interface, which is 12.2. So apparently the problem is somewhere here. The PC cannot ping this gateway of the router. Let's wait for it. Okay, so it's not working. Let's check the settings for this router. Show IP route. Let's see if this router, so you can see that this router has not learned anything from the RIP routing protocol. This router has not learned anything from the RIP routing protocol. Let's see if this router has learned anything from the RIP. Show IP. So same thing, this router has not learned anything from the RIP routing protocol. So the reason why it's not working is that we have to also disable no auto summary here. So we will go back to the router RIP configuration, version 2, no auto summary. That is important so that the RIP doesn't automatically summarizes the routes. So we advertise the two networks we had here, 10.0, 20.0, and same here. We have to disable the automatic summarization of the routes. Config T, router RIP version 2. Sorry, it's router RIP version 2, no auto summary. And let's see if this takes an effect. 10, 12.0, and the next was 11.0. I will fast forward it to see if this router has learned a route from the router advertisement. Yep, so now once I have disabled the no auto summary, uh, this is working. So from this PC 0, when I ping this PC, end-to-end ping is working. So the only thing is that you have to disable the auto summarization in when you are configuring the router rep. And we can also confirm it with the show router command. You see this entry. So this route for the network 11.0 is learned via RIP protocol. So there is R here. You can double check it here as well. Show IP route. So you can see it also knows the path to 10.0 network via a RIP routing protocol. So everything is working now. I can double confirm it. From this PC, I will try to ping the PC on the other side, that is 10.1, and it works. So end-to-end ping is working. Everything is working. Um, it means everything until this point, this step is done. Now the next step is step number 6. Configure the SNMP setting on all the devices, on all the routers and switches. The network manager PC will be used as a network management system, so we don't need to do anything. The next step is this one, step number 7. So configure the SNMP agents, routers, and switches according to these community strings. So first for the routers, the community strings are these. Read only, they will be this, and um, read and write mode community string will be this. So now the next part is that I will be configuring the community strings. So let's go back. So first we will configure the community string on this router. So I will configure it as SNMP agent. So watch this step closely. Uh, First of all, let's go to the config terminal mode. In the config terminal, I will write SNMP. Again, you can use the question mark sign if you don't know the command. The Cisco CLI is quite helpful, and it gives you the hint. It automatically completes the commands as well. So SNMP, the next part will be community. After community, what you have to do is you have to enter the community string which you want to configure. So what I will do is RTR 123, and what was the community string? RTR 123. For you, this 3x means the last three digits of your student ID. Okay, don't forget it. The triple X means last three digits of your student ID. Just for the sake of example, I'm taking it as 123. So the read only mode community string is this. It is yeah. So RTR 123 capital R, and this is read only community string. Okay. Now this is done. The second part is to configure read and write community string. So for that, instead of RO, you will type RW, and instead of R here, you will write RW. So just to double check if this is the same, RW, RTR 123 RW, community string for the router. So you can see that is how we configure the read only and read and write community strings. And that is it. This router is configured as an SNMP agent. You don't need to do anything else. That's it. I hope that was clear. Now I will do the same on the second router because I need to configure that as well as the SNMP agent. So I will do that on Ultimo router now. So you can watch again. I just want to keep it open in parallel so that you see. I can't. So what I will do is I will just keep it here. So first we will go into config terminal mode, SNMP, community, and the name of the community string, which will be RTR, first for read only. So for read only, the community string is RTR123, capital R, and read only. Then for read and write, it's RTR123 and RW, this one. So RW. Community string is configured on the router as well. Now let's do the same for the switches to configure them as the SNMP agents. So process is the same. Community strings are the only thing which will change is the community string. So for the read only community string of the switch, this is the community string which we need to configure. So first of all, let go let's go to the configure terminal mode. Here I will type snmp community, name of the community string, that is sw123 capital R, read only mode, and then rw sw123, and for the read only mode community string is sw123 rw. For you it is going to be the last three digits instead of 123, last digits of your student ID. So instead of this 123, it is going to be the last three digits of your student ID. So that is it. This is also configured as SNMP agent. Let's go back to this switch and Ultima switch. Yep. Go to config mode, conf t, snmp community, and sw123 capital R for read only, and for read and write it will be sw123 read and write. That is it. This community string is also configured. This part is done as well. Okay, hopefully everything is configured now. So this part is done as well. Once SNMP manager and agents are configured, use the MIB browser from the network manager PC to access all the SNMP agents, all routers and switches, and observe which interfaces are in up and which interfaces are in down mode. So watch this step closely. This is our network manager PC or network management system. I click on this PC, and from here you have to select the MIB browser. So this MIB browser is similar to the MIB browser you have been using in the lab. Here you see the MIB tree, and the interface is very much similar to the MIB browser you are using in the lab. So first step is that you have to click on advanced. Click on advanced. Here you will write the IP address of the agent. First I will access this switch, and the IP address of that switch is 192.123.10.2, and you don't need to change the port number. Read only community string for this switch, that is what you have to enter here. And the read only community string for this switch was, let's go back here, for the switch SW123R. So that is the community string SW123 capital R, and read and write is SW123 capital R and W. We can keep it as V1 or V3. Okay. So once that is done, I okay. So I have configured now in the MIB tree here. What you have to select is you have to select a device. For example, my SNMP agent here is switch, and that is this switch L2 MIBs. So for all the switch agents, you have to select this one, and the MIB tree is the same for the rest of it for what you have been using in the lab. So you can see all the objects are under MIB2. So first of all, for the system, let's see, I open the sysname. Its subject ID will be this. It automatically comes up. Operation, I want to select get. Let's click on go. If it works, it will show up the name of the agent. If it doesn't work, you have to troubleshoot. So yep, request timed out. Probably there is an error. I will see if I can fast forward. Sometimes it takes a while to take the SNMP protocol to take into effect. Yep, so here it comes. I didn't do anything. All I did is I just pressed fast forward here a couple of times. So if your SNMP doesn't work, just for fast forward couple of times so that the SNMP configuration takes effect. So you can see the name of the switch is this, and I'm doing it from my network manager PC, as you can see it from here. So I'll want to check sys uptime, that is this. uh, says description. So that is how I can check all the objects. Now in the assignment, I needed to check if which interfaces are in up mode and which interfaces are in down mode. So let's see, I click on if operating status. I can see that which interfaces are in up mode and which interfaces are in down mode. You can see here the three interfaces are up and the rest of the interfaces are in down mode. So you have to take a screenshot of this and include it in the report. So that is how you will be doing it. Similarly, I can see the admin status of these interfaces. So what you have to do is you have to take the screenshots of the operating state. Similarly, same steps you have to do for the router. Now from this network manager PC, what I will do is I will access this switch here. Okay, now that is what all the network management is about. That is what we are reading and studying in the unit, that how one network manager is capable of managing the entire network. So this switch is on a different network, so I want to use the SNMP protocol to see its settings, or maybe to even if change its settings. So I click on MIB browser again. I have to change the IP address here. Now the IP address will be 11.2, that is for that switch. The read and write community strings are the same. And let's see, it is still switch L2 MIBs in the MIB system and sysname. Let's click on go. uh, yeah, usually because SNMP uses UDP as at a transport layer, so it takes a while. Again, what I will try to do is fast forward, and let's do it again. If it doesn't work, then I need to troubleshoot. There might be something which is wrong. Command request timed out. So I'll see what is the IP address of this switch. It is 11.2. I first I will what I will do is I will try to ping from this network manager to this switch to see if this PC can reach the switch. So 192.123.11.2. Yep. So the PC can ping the switch. So there is no problem there. Let's see what are the community strings which we have configured: SW capital R and SW123RW. So I will check that again. So that is like the minor mistakes you can make. So you have to be careful of that, and that is how you will be troubleshooting it. So the community strings I have configured are SW123 capital R, SW123 capital R, SW123 capital RW. Okay, let's do it again. System. Oh, there we go. Yep. So it's working fine. There was no problem. I think just took a while. So we can see its name. We can see its uptime. We need to see the status of the interfaces as required in the assignment. We can do that. We can see three interfaces are in up mode and the others are in down mode. Now, now, for example, if I want to change the name of of this switch from the manager PC, and that is one of the things which you have to do in the assignment. Uh, I'll show you which part. Change the name of the glebe switch to accounts switch from the network manager PC. This is one of the tasks you need to do. So see how I will do it. So instead of get command here, I will use the set command. So the set command changes its value. The data type of the object, so you need to be sure that what is the data type of this object. So the data type of this object is octet string, and I change its name. Instead of Ultimo SW, I change it to Nomon SW. I click go, and you see its name is changed, and you can confirm it. Go to your packet tracer again, click on the switch, click enter. So you see before it was Ultimo switch, now it is Nomon switch. So what I did is from this network manager PC, I accessed this switch and I changed its name. That is the magic of network management. That is what we are studying about. That is what you will be expected to do. I think I have already done all the assignment for you. So all you need to do now is carefully follow the steps, but most importantly, understand the process, how it works, and if something doesn't work, how to troubleshoot carefully. The last thing I will show you is for one of the routers. I will show you for this router how you can do it using network management. Everything using SNMP, everything else remains the same. I will enter the IP address of this router. Let's say I enter 12.1. So it will be 12.2, sorry. The IP address of this serial interface, that is 12.2. And the community strings will be different. The community strings for this router are these. So that is what I have to configure next. So where is the settings? Yep, here. So 11.2, and the community string is RTR123 capital R. This is case sensitive, so be careful when you enter the community strings. RTR123 capital RW. Okay. Uh, now you don't click on switch because it's a router. So for the router, you click on the router standard MIBs. So there are only two MIBs you will be using for the router, this one, and for the switch, this one. So because I want to access router as an SNMP agent, so I go to the routers MIB, and let's start off with the name. And you can see the router MIBs, it has more groups under its MIB. It has interfaces group, IP group, OSPF group, RIP group. So let's first start with the name to see if we even can access, if we can access the router. I think same issue. If this happens, you don't need to worry. Just be patient. Fast forward the time. Try again, because the important thing is you have to check if you can access. If you do the ping to the router, it means you should be able to access the router as well. hmm Okay, the next thing I will do, I will do the ping. Ping 192.123.12.2. It pings, so there is no problem with the connectivity. That means that it should be able to access it using MIB browser 11.2. Let's do it again. Router OMG management MIB2 system sysname get. I think there may be issue with the community strings I entered. So the next thing I will check is the community strings. So I'll go to advanced, and here I need to check if I'm entering the community strings correctly. SNMP community RTR123R. R2, so in 192.123.11.2, I think that is the IP address. Just confirm it. Uh, Giga 12.2. Sorry. See, the error is I'm entering the IP address incorrectly. So the IP address was 12.2. 11.2 is for the switch. Okay. So that was the mistake. Change it to 12.2. Okay, and let's go back. 12.2, go. And here we go. So you see, if everything is correct, it should work correctly. If there is a mistake, go back, check everything once again. I can see the uptime. Once I have the access to the router, I can do anything with the router I want because I have the access, like the manager level access. I can change its um, object values, I can change its name, I can change the operating status of the router interfaces as well. So to see the operating status of the router interfaces, you can see the two interfaces are up, two interfaces are down. So you have to I mean, this is also one part of the assignment, so you have to check the interfaces which are in up and down mode. You see that. So I think I have showed you everything how you can do. um, so I think that was a pretty explained demo for what you need to do in the assignment. So now my expectation for your work is also increased because I have given you the most part of it already. So um, now your job is to do some good work, do some good learning, and uh, prepare a good report. You also have 1 week holidays, so you can utilize this time as well to complete the assignment. So that was everything about the assignment. The only thing I left for you to research, and I wanted to leave it to you, um, so that at least there should be some contribution and research from you as well, was that in the very last task, you have to change the interface mode of Giga Net, Giga Ethernet interface 00 interface of Redfern, that is this interface of the Redfern router. You have to change its status from up to down from the network manager PC and take a screenshot and include it in the result. Now, the hint I will give it to you is that you can change it from the SNMP manager PC, is that the admin status of the router in the admin status object, it takes the values in the integer forms. Its data type is integer. So if you change its value to 1, it will go into up mode. If you change its value to 2, it will go into down mode. So um, now I think the last thing you need to do is just like use it for the router. So that is the last, very last step. And if you want, I will show you as well. uh, Again, what I expect now from you is really a good work in the assignment because you have been explained everything from the scratch. So I will show it to you how you can change the status of the router as well. So we go to MIB browser from the network manager, 12.2 router standard MIBs. Let's see if we have access to the router system. First I will check sysname. Yep, I can access it. What I will do is I will turn one of the interfaces of the router into off. So we'll just, if admin status, you check this object which shows the administration status of all the router interfaces. So as I showed you that this takes an integer value, sorry, this takes an integer value, and 1 means that you want to change the status to up, and 2 means you want to change the status to down, and that is the only two integers you will be dealing with. Let's say if I want to change the status of this router interface to down, so it is in up mode. The OID for this interface is 1.7.2, so I have to manually enter here 1.7.2. Once I do that, I click on set and I change the interface status to 2. I give it the integer value and I change it to 2. So it will change the status to down. I click on go and let's see if it is changed. You can see it from here. This interface has gone into down mode. You can see here the connection has gone down. I can confirm it again from if admin status. I click on it, I click get, and you can see this is now down, and only this interface is up. So only this interface is up. So if I want to turn that interface up again, I do the same thing, 7.2. I click on set. Now the integer value is 1, which will change its mode to up. This is 1. Let's see if it has been changed to up. You can see the light has gone green. So that's the magic of network management. From the network manager PC, you were able to change the settings of this router, of this switch, of all the SNMP agents. So that was the end of the demo. I have done all the steps which were needed, which you need to do in the assessment. So now I really expect some good work in your assignments. The most important part will be your reflection, your analysis, how you are doing these steps and what you learn from these steps. So please make sure you write a very good report. And the one thing I will not be compromising on is the plagiarism. So please don't plagiarize anything. Submit your own work and use the references if you are taking use the Harvard style referencing if you need to refer to any resources. Okay, before I end the recording, I have this sample template. I will share it with you. I will send it to the same email I will send the recording. It's optional. You can choose to use it, and if you don't want, you don't need to use it. So it's really up to you. This is just a guide sample template which you can use. So you, in the title, you briefly write about what you will be doing. In the introduction, you provide the background for the reader to understand the scenario you are implementing according to the given report. In assumptions, if you're making any assumptions, you can write here in this part. Then in the implementation scenario, you can start writing about the implementation, how you have configured the topology, how you have configured the IP addresses, how you have configured the SNMP community strings for the agent, along with the screenshots and the configurations, OID table of the objects which you will be managing and seeing from the manager. Then in the results section, you write here all the tasks which have been asked in the task 8 about modifying the SNMP agent, take screenshots, write your results and analysis. And in problems, you can write if you have experienced any problems, how you troubleshooted them, and which solutions you tried, which worked, which did not work. Finally, the conclusions, and you will write the references in the end. So this is a sample template I can send to the same email. You can use it or you can use your own template as well. I don't mind. It's not binding. It's just to, because some students asked for the template, so I have written the template so that it makes your life a bit more easier. Now, good luck for the assessment and please submit a good work. The hard work I have done, I expect more hard work because you will be doing the assessment. So I expect much more hard work from you. So please make sure your report is up to my expectations. My expectations have now increased after I have spent this much time on explaining the report and giving you the demo. So very best of luck and enjoy your holidays. I will see you in the next session. Thank you very much.